Welcome to a new week, my friends. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. It's about 9 o'clock on Monday morning, and I've already been up about getting things done, getting going. I didn't go to the park this morning, but I got up and just walked out the front door. Got about 5,400 steps in, according to my phone. I'm trying to do that more these days, just get walking back in. If I'm not going to be in Costa Rica, it's a little bit different here because, you know, when I was back home in Costa Rica, I walked for practicality to do things. I didn't just like go for walks. That just it's kind of foreign to me, but since there's really nothing that's close enough around my house, like I can't food shop or whatever by foot. So anyhow, I went out and got a little walking this morning. It's just more to get out in nature a little bit and just to move my legs. I don't really even count that as exercise, but anyhow, want to start the week talking about the truth about food addiction on the raw food diet. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button now. Then be sure and click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I hate doing that little boring spiel every day too, but somebody made a comment in an older video just the other day. Oh, I haven't seen your videos in a while, and I went and checked and I was unsubscribed. If you don't go and check that stuff, you get unsubscribed from YouTube channels for some reason whatsoever. Got to thinking about this one yesterday, food addiction. I've talked about food addiction before, and I kind of, I kind of scoff at it a little bit. And then people get their feelings hurt, and they're like, but my cheese and the brain and the connection, and I'm like, okay, and then this and then that. I'm not saying food addiction doesn't exist. I'm just saying for every 10 people that says they're addicted to some food, that probably maybe one of them are, maybe even like 2 or 3 out of 100 that are actually addicted to a food. Because what does an addiction mean? I don't know, I guess however you're defining addiction, but I'm going to talk about some things today that will pertain to, like, I like to call things habits. It's like certain things I've given up. I don't necessarily say they were an addiction, but they were still kind of hard to give up. They still had like kind of a pull on you. So, we don't really have to worry about the semantics if you're a full-on addict, but how do we deal with that? How do we get rid of that craving for those foods that we don't want to eat, that don't serve us so much? Well, welcome to Addiction and Detox Addict. You, the addict. Sometimes everybody's always looking for their methadone. Methadone is what they give heroin addicts a lot to get off of heroin, which eases the detox process a bit. And it's just kind of, it graduates you down, and you don't have to go through this as much gut-wrenching pain. Well, I think everybody's always looking for the methadone on raw food when they come to raw foods. What can I do? I don't want any pain. I don't want any discomfort. I don't want any mental discomfort. I don't want any mental anguish. What can I do? What's the fastest way? What's the method? What's the approach to, get rid of this craving? And quite simply, you're just going to have to detox out of yourself and gut it out. You're going to almost have to, what they call in recovery, white knuckle it for a little while. Now, like I say, there's a lot of there's a lot of little tricks you can use. It works different for everybody. I just always feel like even back when I ate whatever, if I had a craving for one particular thing, I found that I never had cravings. I never had real trouble with holding myself back from eating any type of food when I was already full. So I always suggest, that's my first thing. I don't have these fancy methods or whatever. I'm just like, see a problem, solve the problem whatever way. You don't have to think of a fancy way. You don't have to build the better mousetrap. Just solve the problem. If you feel yourself like, whatever your particular food of choice that you're trying to avoid is, if you feel that intense craving come on for that, eat something. Eat some banana ice cream. Eat whatever you have to eat to fill your stomach. I've said that I don't know how many times in videos, and I don't think anybody ever just does that. They're like, well, I guess, that's some pretty good advice. Do it. Do it. You aren't going to crave something when you're full. I've never had a craving for anything when I was full. Well, not more food anyway, but yeah, you got to gut it out, and you got to get that that out of your system. Every time you're introducing it, it's like, you know, a cigarette. People, that's why stopping to smoke, I watch so many people, and it's always that first cigarette. They stop, they go 10 days, they go 2 weeks, they go 3 weeks, they go a month, they're doing good. They get a little cocky, they think they've got it beat. You go out to a party or something, and oh, and also after you've gone about that month, you know, you still kind of want a cigarette. You ain't gonna get rid of that craving for a cigarette after that short a period of time. But if you've been for that full month without a cigarette, it's eased a little bit. There's just not that intense, like in your face, I gotta have it all the time. So you go to a party one night and you're like, okay, well, I'm you know, I'm with friends and whatever, I can have a cigarette. I'm just gonna have a cigarette. I'm out for the weekend. And you light up a cigarette. And as soon as you introduce that nicotine back into your system, that wanting, that craving just amps right back up. If it was down here, it goes right back up to here. And usually it's a slippery slope. You know, they smoke one and then, well, I can have one every few days, and then before you know it, they're back at it. Same thing with food. Same thing with food. All these times, and I watch these people, this is my trouble. If cookies are your trouble thing, eliminate cookies from your head. Cookies don't even exist anymore. Don't have a cookie in your house. You just don't eat cookies. If you have to go to a hypnotist and program your brain to think those cookies are poison, if I eat one bite of that cookie, it will kill me, you do it. But a lot of it, I think, is behavior more than physical. Okay, let's get back to addiction again. Most every addiction, when you detox from it, comes with a little pain. Now, you might mentally have a little pain. Oh, I want this or I want that. Even like people talk about, is it cheese the one that's supposed to be, excuse me a second. Is it cheese that's supposed to be the super addictive one that has this connection with the brain, blah, blah, blah? Okay. I've read a little bit of that. It is valid science, doesn't exist in that many people, but even so, think about food addictions like this. If you really want to compare them to the hard stuff like a pill addiction, a heroin addiction, a cocaine, or a crack addiction, or alcohol. You may want this food, you may want this food intensely, you may claim you have the hardcore addiction, but you're not going to actually get physically sick if you don't eat it. Most things. Somebody will have an exception out there, but you know what I mean? Like when you get rid of heroin, you're sick. You feel like garbage until you detox out of your body. Pills, probably even worse. Things like that. You know, the food, you're probably like, oh God, I miss those Cheetos. I miss those Cheetos. I miss those Cheetos. But you're not going to get sick if you don't eat your Cheetos. So, I don't know. You have to eliminate the things that you are either addicted to or you're just you just can't, you have a problem giving them up. Let's say a hard habit to give up. I can deal with that a little bit more. But the food addiction, you know, regardless, let's say it does exist and you're 100% addicted. The only thing you can really do is get rid of that substance. I know, easier said than done, and just come up with substitutes for that. If it's something, you know, if we're talking in the way of sweet, come up with some sweet alternatives. If it's something more hearty, more savory, come up with savory. That's why I'm always telling people to have a good repertoire with those recipes. You don't need to have 100 recipes, but you need to have a variety in different things. You need to have some of those sweet recipes. We can mostly handle that with the fruit. We don't really have to have recipes per se for sweet. You can know a few tricks like how to use dates to sweeten something, and also that savory. So when we need something that's a little bit more, you know, substantial, we can do that. And there's all kind of, you know, mock versions of things, whether you're on the fully raw thing or whether you just try to eat a clean version of a plant-based diet. There's clean versions of lasagna, of burgers, of everything out there. So anyhow, that's what you just got to basically got to not keep reintroducing the food into you. It's tough, but each day that goes by, you do something, you do what you got to do the first day, and especially that first time, my crude methods are very effective. Just crowd it out. crowd it out. Crowd it out. Don't worry. Don't even think like, well, I'm eating too much of this. I might gain a little bit of weight. When you're trying to get rid of that addiction that you say you have, that's until you get rid of that, that's your number one objective. All the rest goes out the way. So if you have a craving for this, make yourself a big bowl of banana ice cream. 1,000 calories worth of banana and ice cream. You ain't gonna be craving anything after that. But can't keep reintroducing your substance of choice into your system and expect it just to go away one time, poof, overnight. It just doesn't make any sense. Anyhow, hope this video made a little bit of sense today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow. Peace.